For my nurse informatics interview, I decided to interview Lois Motley, who is one of three nurse informaticists at Dignity Health, Community Hospital San Bernardino. She originally started on a med surg floor, and she said she became a super user and helped to guide people and teach people about how to use documenting and that documenting application that we use. And what was interesting was how she stated that she never actually wanted to be in the position that she's currently in. She just kind of was thrust into that position because of her being put into the point of teaching people how to use the system. So that was really interesting in that it seems that nobody who is a nurse informaticist started out to become a nurse informaticist. It's just the way that their career led them. So I just wanted to get to know what her position was and really understand how she made it possible for us to be able to use the applications. And she discussed how, as a nurse informaticist, the point is to bridge clinical with IT, and that was the biggest thing that she tried to drive home about was nurse informaticists are not IT. They're not there to teach you how to use your computer. They're there to teach you how to use your application for documenting better. So in our case, it's for Cerner. So um, it's how to use the tools as well as figure out how to make Cerner a better application for nurses in order for us to document better. So based off of what we say as well as what from the Joint Commission would say, or CMS recommendations, that's really how they go about making changes for the application. And another interesting aspect of that is that it just doesn't have to do with what we want in our specific hospital because Cerner is used nationwide. So it has to go through so many different stops in order to have any type of change whatsoever. So I thought that was really interesting that, one change in one hospital affects the change in, hundreds of other hospitals that might use Cerner. Um, and then talking about the safeguards, just things that I never really thought about as far as, you know, when I'm documenting and charting on my patient, I have all these little pop ups that just come out. And, most of the time I wouldn't even read them, but talking with her actually um, made me stop and start reading some of what the pop ups had said, whether it be about patient meeting sepsis criteria. Even though you're treating them for sepsis already, it still pops up and says there, or whether to complete a form because the patient had either a central line placed or if they already have a central line that it was accessed. So little things like that I never really noticed or really even thought about until she started pointing these out during our interview. So that was interesting. Let's see. What else did we speak about? The third really interesting part about um, nursing informaticists is um, that they also teach the physicians. And aside from us having to complete certain things, physicians are also required to complete certain things. So in our hospital, physicians are meant to complete 80% of the orders. So normally in the ED, we'll be putting, as nurses, putting in orders all the time, asking your doctor for a certain order and then just putting it in yourself. Well, admitting physicians are actually supposed to be putting in, 80% of their orders, and some of them do it, some of them don't do it. Some of them just let the nurses put in, the first few orders at least so that you can get your patient upstairs. Whereas some of the other doctors will place 100% of their orders every single time. So I thought that was really interesting in that, there's certain criteria that our physicians must meet um, as part of their meeting their goals. Um, and let's see. Um, just one thing that really struck me is that I never thought of this position until we got into this class. So I had no idea what a nursing informaticist was, what they do, and it was interesting to actually speak with somebody who does this on a daily basis, see how much work it really is, and how big a role they, you know, have at the hospital, because documenting is probably the most important thing that we do. If you don't document it, you didn't do it. So I think, a great thing would be for nurse informaticists to speak with new grads or new nurses who are coming into a new documenting application, and just discuss, important aspects of it. There's regular charting that we do on a daily basis, but more important charting, more important safeguards that we should be keeping an eye out for, or just something that, pointing little things out to us that maybe we missed, or preceptors missed, or somebody just didn't happen to tell us. I think that would be such an amazing opportunity for nurse informaticists to actually be a bigger part, because even when I got hired, I had no idea that there was a nurse informaticist. I didn't know who it was, and I think they can play such a great role when it comes to new nurses, that it would be an incredible opportunity for them to really share their role and share how important it is, and to get us more excited about the role and what it could mean, and maybe even getting some of us involved in it, would be an excellent opportunity to continue educating on people on this role, and helping them understand, how much a nurse informaticist really does to keep the hospital moving, and keep our charting system evolving. So I had a really great time interviewing her, and really understanding what a nurse informaticist does in my particular hospital, and the degree to which they work was really great. So um, that was my interview. Thank you.